bright sunny day. What better way to spend it than to sit at my computer and read my numerous YouTube comments? Oh shit, someone actually commented. Let's see. Watch Girl's Last Tour. What the fuck is this? Is it some kind of Bocchi the Rock ripoff? Anyway, since it's recommended to me, and me being the amazing YouTuber that I am, I watched the entire thing. Here are my thoughts. Basically, this is about the adventures of two girls in a dystopian world where 99% of humans have died out for reasons that we will slowly start to uncover as we progress. The two of them have the goal of reaching the higher floors, as in this version of Earth, everything seems to be built in layers. This story also brings in philosophical elements like what's the meaning of life and shit. I mean, the answer is quite clear, right? The meaning of life is to go 10 times a day, baby! I don't even need a 12 episode anime to explain that to me.
Okay, so it's just another post-apocalyptic show?
No. This show stands out in its own way, okay? It's not just some post-apocalyptic show, okay? Enough bullshitting and let's jump right into the pros. Let's start off with the main cast, Chi and Yuu. And let me just say, they gel together so well, to the point that I just don't see them surviving without each other. Yuu is strong and daring, but she is, for a lack of a better word, quite dumb. Chi is smart, but can be quite timid at times. And Chi's situational awareness also stresses her out during certain predicaments. Basically, Yuu is the brawn and Chi is the brain, and they do what the other party cannot. At the start of the show, we also do not know how deep their relationship is, especially after the first episode, which left me thinking, are the two of them just sticking together because they genuinely want to, or are they together because they are the only two humans left on Earth? But as the story progresses, their feelings and need for one another becomes a lot clearer, dispelling all my doubts while also providing good character development. Moving on to the side cast, we have Kanazawa and Ishii. Despite their character arcs being similar in the sense that they are there as thought-provoking characters to make us reflect on our own meaning of life, they differ in their execution as both their arcs end in unique ways. Their interactions with Yuu and Chi also prove to have quite an impact on the story, long after their introduction. I don't want to spoil too much, so yeah, you have to watch it yourself if you want to find out more. Classic Rudy script writing once again, making your viewers do your job for you. Truly amazing. I know I already covered this briefly in the earlier part, but in this section, I want to talk about why this story is so good. I'm not a huge fan of the mystery genre, okay? Death Note, mid, Monster, dropped it after 30 chapters, 91 days, shit. But yeah, this show was just really engaging throughout as I try to pick up as much details as possible so that I can try to piece together whatever happened in this world. Personally, I prefer if the mystery is about the world instead of some murder mystery R story. In this show, small details get dropped every episode, helping you narrow down your prediction to things like why their world ended up so deserted. For example, at the start, you're not sure if it's a nuclear apocalypse, a zombie outbreak, or an AI takeover, but the answer to this becomes a lot clearer as the story progresses. The time period of this story is also unknown, as at the start, Yuu is carrying a bolt action rifle and Chi is driving a vehicle with tank tracks. So from that, we can infer that this story takes place in any year after the 1920s. But once again, as the story progresses, you'll be able to narrow it down. Other than these two areas, there's a ton of other small details that you can try to piece together with every episode, which made it so much more engaging as with every new scene, I'm just constantly scanning for details. This story, however, has almost zero action scenes, which may be a turn-off for the average shonen tart, but to me it kinda didn't matter. I was too entertained by the world building clues to even fuss about the lack of action. Additionally, I think that having fight scenes in this show would just straight up ruin the immersion, as they're basically the last few humans left on Earth. Everything else is basically dead. The problem I have with animes that try to be too overly deep is that the philosophical moments feel out of place. I don't want to attract too much heat, okay? But I'm just gonna say the philosophical moments in Vinland Saga Season 1 are a good example of what I mean. They fixed it in Season 2, so don't flame me too hard, okay? This is what made the anime stand out for me, as the transition between the cute and funny moments and the more serious philosophical discussion is done so well. I'm gonna try and explain this without spoiling too much, but you know how sometimes you and bro get a little bit too bored and start engaging in random philosophical topics? Yeah, it feels exactly like that. At times, the both of them have literally nothing to do and they sort of just start yapping. And yeah, I just really like this style a lot as it feels really authentic. Look, it's no Demon Slayer, okay? But while watching, I was quite surprised as in my opinion, it still holds up today, despite coming out more than 8 years ago. The animation in this show is able to convey the post-apocalyptic tone of the show really well. For the most part, the colours in this show have a very grayscale look. As a result, when more vibrant colours are used, it creates a really stark contrast, which makes the scenes stand out a lot more. Since there are barely any fight scenes, I can't really comment on the fluidity of animation, but generally I'm just gonna say that with the exception of a few clunky CGI scenes, it honestly doesn't look that bad. Everything else looks really solid. If anything, I'm just gonna say the animation in this show is leagues ahead of One Punch Man Season 3. Okay bro, we get it. This show is good, but surely there are some flaws, right? And to that I'll say kind of, but it kind of depends. The major flaw for me is that it feels quite episodic, in the sense that in between episodes, the two girls can end up in a location that looks completely new. And I'm like, what? How did they even end up here? And I have to go back to the previous episode to make sure I didn't skip anything. Like, I know, it's gonna be a bit boring if they show like a 5-minute clip of Chi driving to random places and Yuu just sleeping. But I felt like it would have been a good opportunity if they employed what Studio Pine did in Mushoku Tensei Season 1. And instead of showing the same opening across all the episodes, they used the time to show what Rudy is doing behind the scenes. I think if they did this show would be a 10 out of 10 for me. I also feel like this show could have done more to kind of tease what things are going to be like on the upper floors. I think even as they progress through the floors, it remains more or less the same. I think more could have been done to sort of separate the floors. Kinda like in Main and Abyss, where each floor is entirely unique. Or maybe the whole point of this show is just to show that the whole world is literally fucked and there's nothing left, and that just flew over my head. So yeah, there you have it. This anime is no cap bussin' for real. Oh my fucking god. And I will highly recommend this to anyone that wants deeper world building mystery and able to forgo hype action scenes. The world building is really deep and kind of rewards you for figuring things out along the way. The animation still holds up with the exception of a few CGI scenes that, yeah, like I said, don't even look that bad. The story along with the characters are all really solid. Before I end this video, I just want to say I'm really glad I listened to Mr. Robert Jeffro Galano 1053 here, as without this comment, this anime would have flown under my radar. So yeah, if you guys have any recommendations, do let me know. Even though I may or may not watch them, it kind of gives me a list of potential video ideas. Okay, so yeah, that brings us to the end of the video. If you have made it this far, don't forget to like and sub, and I'll see y'all in the next one.